Greetings fellow ukuleleans, Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new tutorial. Today I'd like to talk a little about ukulele jazz, but not in the traditional sense. A lot of times when you see a tutorial on YouTube referring to ukulele jazz, they're showing you a jazz standard. They're teaching you perhaps Satin Doll, or maybe Autumn Leaves, or something like that, Summertime. And those are all great tunes, and I've maybe taught those tunes in the past too. But really, I'd like to attack this subject from the aspect of what chords do you need to know in order to play jazz on the ukulele. Or maybe your goal isn't even to play jazz. Maybe you just like the sound of chords that aren't simple major and minor chords. And you're intrigued by seventh chords and sixth chords and ninth chords and things like that. But you're not necessarily looking to play Duke Ellington songs and sound like Billie Holiday or something like that. Maybe your objective is just to expand your chord vocabulary. So that's what I'm here to do, is to help you with that. So let's get into it. I was just playing a little vamp there, a vamp being a repeating chord progression with just a few chords, few chords that go over and over. I was playing E minor 7, 0, 2, 0, 2. Very easy chord, but look at the results. It's like, pretty cool. It's a lot different than an E minor. Plain old E minor is this. As great as E minor is, it's got a certain kind of basic sound to it. And then if you tweak it and make it an E minor 7, it opens it up. It gives it this other flavor. And so that's what this is all about, getting beyond those basic major and minor chords. So E minor 7 is the first one we need to know. By the way, that's also called G6, and we'll learn about that later, about how in certain contexts the same combination of notes would be called G6. But today we're going to be probably checking this out as an E minor 7 exclusively. All right, from there I went to A9. Now that, just because of that number, A9, that makes it sound like it would probably be kind of advanced and hard and complicated and all of that. It actually is not. It's very easy. All you have to do is play 0, 1, 0, 2. We were playing 0, 2, 0, 2, so you really just move one note. You keep one note the same, and you just move one other note. And of course the open strings stay the same. So there's 3 notes that stay the same between these two chords, and one note that moves. And by the way, it only moves a little bit. It's only moving from the 2nd fret to the 1st fret, a half step. So even though there's very little difference between those two chords, it makes for a nice movement, very smooth. So minimum of motion, maximum of sound. It's a great thing. Another chord I did, the only other chord I did, was a C major 7. That's when you open up the C string too, and you have 0, 0, 0, 2. C major 7. You can finger that a lot of different ways. You could use your first finger, your second finger, your third finger. You could even use your pinky if you wanted to. But in this case, I'm using my third finger because it was already there. It was there for the E minor 7. It was there for the A9, and it's still there for the C major 7. So that's pretty cool how you can keep this note constant throughout the chords and keep that finger constant throughout the chords. The less moving around, the better. The physically easier it is to play, the smoother it sounds, and it gives the music some kind of unity, some kind of continuity, where there's this common tone, this common note throughout all those chords. So that's why that chord progression kind of sounds nice. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, he said he's going to teach us ukulele jazz. How come he doesn't talk about the strums and the rhythms and the finger picking he's doing and all that stuff? Well, I could, that's a separate video. But I'm just going to show you a very basic strum for now. I'm going to show you what you can do to make this swing and give it an authentic jazz feel, but with just a minimum of knowledge about the subject. You don't have to be a lifelong jazzer to get this. Anybody can get this. It's quarter notes. It's one strum per beat, per tap of the foot. But you try to make those quarter notes short. You try to make your chords muted after you've let them ring a little bit, so there's a little bit of space between strums. So that muting thing comes from pressing down on the notes and then lifting off the pressure, not leaving the strings, staying on the strings, but releasing the pressure. That makes for silence, and that gives you more of a swing feel. Wouldn't be as swingy if you went like this. That doesn't sound so much like jazz, but also I do some other things in there too to make it a little bit more swingy. But even just that, short quarter notes give you a great swing. It's a little easier to do short quarter notes when a chord is fully fretted, when you have no open strings. So here's a great one for you to know. This is a C minor 7. It's when you bar the 3rd fret all the way across, all 4 strings. Using my first finger to do that. That's an easy chord to press and release. Press and release. So that's a different sound then. See? When you let the chords ring like that, it doesn't swing quite as hard. But when you lift your finger off after every strum, not off, but release the pressure, that's more of a swing sound. So that's something we can go into more depth in other videos about, but I figured I'd at least address that, because I know some of you, when you see, oh, ukulele jazz, that immediately makes you think he's going to show me how to strum and how to fingerpick to sound like ukulele jazz. And indeed, today I'm just focusing on chords.